Good morning, everyone. So, I'm going to make it much simpler than 600 mosaics. Very complicated, no? Have you lost count? I already lost after the fifth mosaic already. I got confused. But it is a very systematic approach. As all of you know, in the early days of Auroville, the mother was herself monitoring the progress of Auroville. She used to have, when Roger was in town, she used to have daily meetings with him. People like Shyam Sundar ji and Dayanand ji, who has just arrived, he did the land, most of the land, the person who just entered, Dayanand, he did most of the land purchase. He was given that responsibility by the mother. They had to report to her almost every day on the progress. I was told once a very beautiful story that when Shyam Sundar went to the mother about some land issue, that they were negotiating with somebody in Kualapalayam. I think the villager was willing to sell for... Sorry, is it now okay? Okay, sorry. So when, for example, one example is that the mother was very much focusing on the land of Auroville, and Dayanand, who has just entered here, he was in charge of that. And there were examples where, for example, Shyam Sundar would tell the mother, the villager is willing to sell for 5,000 per acre. Those were the prices in those days. And we have offered 3,000, so we are negotiating. And the mother would say, why are you delaying? Give the 5,000 and get it done. And she has even, the daughter of Shyam Sundar has once told me that the mother even was shaking physically Shyam Sundar, and he was a very thin person, as you remember, to say, come on, let's get going. So one of the many dimensions of the mother has so many dimensions, was that she was also very much pushing the project. She was in a hurry. At one point it was said that Mata Mandir should be completed by the centenary of Sri Aurobindo, which is 1972. And that the town would be built within 20 years. She had herself signed a project proposal which went even to the Ford Foundation to complete the project in 10 to 20 years. She wanted the Olympic Games to be held in Auroville. So let us be clear that the founder of Auroville, the mother, was in a hurry. She wanted the project to be built. The mother already had the ashram in Pondicherry with about 2,500 people. That was one manifestation of Sri Aurobindo's vision. And she wanted another manifestation of Sri Aurobindo's vision in the form of a town with 50,000 people. Sometimes people have asked, where did the 50,000 come from? Actually, Roger had proposed to the mother a smaller number, 2025. And the 50,000 came from the mother herself. Now, sometimes in a lighter vein, we say to each other, the reason that the mother wanted 50,000 is that she already had the experience that even in the ashram only 10% are doing the yoga. So if we have 50,000, at least 5,000 will do the yoga. That's in a lighter vein. So, an interesting observation by some of the urban planners, Dr. B.V. Doshi was in Auroville, he has been many times, but when he was here in the 80s, and he did not know much about Auroville at that time, he made a round of Auroville, and when we met here in Baradivas, one of the first questions he asked was, why are you people so scattered? 3 people here, 5 people there, 10 there. Almost everyone has their own community. And that is not how a town develops. And it is true that the infrastructure also becomes very, very expensive. So he said you should build clusters. So one person asked, what is the size of a cluster? And he says a cluster is at least 10,000 people. Then with 10,000 people you get a cluster life. And 10,000 people also justifies at least 2 barbers, 3 plumbers, 5 carpenters, 3 doctors. So a cluster life is what you need. And then I remember I was the one to ask him, after he had addressed the issue of clusters, I asked him, but then what is if the critical mass for a cluster is 10,000, what is according to you the critical mass for a township? He said to get a feeling of a township and the life of a township, you need 40 to 60,000 people. And he did not know at that time that 50,000 was the number of Ouderville. So 50 is exactly between 40 and 60. So even from a planning point of view, we have now to come to the conclusion that the mother was also a very good urban planner. When Roger pointed out in a long letter that he wrote to the mother in 1965, he wrote a note to her about all sorts of concerns he had about the township development. And one of his concerns was cars. He wrote to the mother in 1965 that cars in all the cities create havoc. They spoil cities. In fact, he used some stronger words, but I'm not going to repeat those words, about cars. And the mother, in her own handwriting, I have a copy of it, wrote in the margin of that note, of that paragraph, electrical vehicles, 15 kilometers per hour, 200 kg payload. She even calculated the payload. It means about 4 people. Mother in 1965. Elon Musk was not even born. There was no Tesla. So, and I can give you many more examples to show that the mother, in her collaboration with Roger, were way ahead of times. Some people say the master plan of Ouderville, which is based on the Galaxy plan, is outdated. In a recent communication with some friends, I say it was post-dated, like a post-dated check. It was way ahead of its time. And you know, as Srivatsa rightly said, a visionary town is timeless. I hope you know the difference between vision and mission. A vision is something that you see. The mother saw Ouderville. And she said it is there already. It has to come down. A mission is something you have to do in order to implement the vision. You never hear people say vision accomplished. People will say mission accomplished. So there is a series of missions which Srivatsa has explained, 600, which have to be implemented now to get the vision manifested. So therefore, you can never say that the Galaxy plan which the mother had seen, or the vision that she had seen, is outdated or even post-dated. It is undated. It is for all times to come. What will change over a period of time is the manner, the building materials that you use. Today we have much more opportunity to do solar energy. We have more choice in e-mobility. That will change, technology. But the vision is indeed timeless. And it is a town which is supposed to have a life in it, a society, to manifest Sri Aurobindo's vision. It is a town with a vision. It is not a town for us. Another very big misunderstanding that I sometimes notice amongst ourselves is that we see ourselves as beneficiaries or stakeholders. We are not beneficiaries or stakeholders. If at all there is a stakeholder, there is only one, the divine. If at all you want to talk about more stakeholders, you could say the world at large. We are the voluntary workers who came here to help to build that town, develop it, and create the social and economic infrastructure for it. We are not the beneficiaries. There is neither a benefactor nor is there a beneficiary. This is a visionary town. So we cannot demand even from the TDC, you must build the town to my liking. No, to nobody's liking. It's not a town that can be measured on the scale of like and dislikes. It is built and seen at a completely different scale. So I think the opportunity of the 150th anniversary of Sri Aurobindo is also, with all of us, to bring the town back to the level where it belongs, at that visionary level, and to manifest it, as the mother said, as a laboratory of evolution, as a city for the future, as the cradle for the Superman. At that level, we have to build and manifest the township.